All right, welcome back for another deep dive.
Good to be back.
Today, we're going back to the opening line, just like we always do.
Yeah, hooked from the first line.
You got it. This time, it's Jeffrey Eugenides Middlesex.
Oh, classic.
I'm sure a lot of you out there are familiar with this one.
Definitely.
But even when you know a book well, there's always something new to discover.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you really focus on that first line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here it is. I was born twice. First, as a baby girl, on a remarkably smogless Detroit day in January of 1960, and then again as a teenage boy in an emergency room near Petoskey, Michigan in August of 1974.
Wow. Right into it.
Right. I mean, talk about a hook. Get you thinking right away.
No kidding. It's like, where do you even go from there?
I know, right? Born twice. Such a powerful image.
It really sets the stage, doesn't it?
It really does. So we've got this dual birth right there in the first sentence. Transformation, identity, all those big ideas right up front. What do you think? How does this set the tone for the whole book?
I think it establishes Cal's journey right from the start. You know, this is not going to be a typical coming-of-age story. It's about figuring out who you are when even the most basic things about you are in question.
And that idea of duality keeps coming back. Like you were saying, it's not just about gender.
Right. You've got the family's Greek heritage and how that clashes with their American life.
Yeah, like two worlds colliding.
Exactly. And all the secrets, the things they're hiding from the world, and even from themselves.
Oh, and speaking of specifics, I'm fascinated by how Eugenides grounds the story in such precise times and places. Detroit in 1960, Petoskey, Michigan, 1974.
Oh, yeah, those details are so important.
It's like he's saying that where and when you were born really matters.
Absolutely. I mean, think about Detroit in 1960, a city on the verge of massive change, kind of like Cal, in a way.
It's like the city itself is going through a transformation.
Exactly. And then Petoskey, this smaller town, more rural, it's almost like Cal's being pulled in two different directions.
Speaking of pulling in different directions, our source material mentions the theme of fluidity. Fluidity and change. How do those ideas go beyond just gender in the book?
Well, it's like Cal's identity is constantly shifting, right?
Yeah.
And so much of that is shaped by things outside their control, like family history, cultural expectations, even the political climate at the time.
That's so true. I mean, think about the historical backdrop. The Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War.
Exactly. All of that is swirling around Cal as they're trying to figure out who they are.
It's kind of overwhelming when you think about it.
Yeah, but Eugenides weaves it all together so beautifully.
It really does. So we've got this incredibly specific story, right? But somehow it feels universal too. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I think anyone who's ever gone through a major life change can relate to that feeling of being born twice.
Like starting over?
Exactly. It could be graduating, moving to a new city, ending a relationship. Anything that makes you question who you are and where you belong.
I've definitely had a few of those moments myself.
Me too. It's part of being human, I think.
It really is. And, you know, what strikes me about this opening line is how matter-of-fact it is.
Right. It's not over-the-top dramatic. It's just stating a fact.
That's what makes it so powerful.
Totally. It's like Cal is saying, this is my story, take it or leave it.
But you can't leave it, can you? It draws you in.
Not at all. And that's Eugenides' brilliance. He can take these really complex, sensitive topics and present them in a way that feels both intimate and epic. He pulls you into Cal's world, and you can't help but be swept away by it.
So to bring it back to our original question, does that opening line live up to its promise?
I think it does more than that. It sets the bar incredibly high.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And it leaves us with so much to think about, even after we finish the book.
For sure. Like, was Cal's second birth inevitable? Was it fate or choice? Or maybe a bit of both?
It's a question that lingers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you want to dive back into the book and find your own answers.
Absolutely.
Well, that about wraps it up for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. What do you think about that opening line?
Does it resonate with you?
Let us know.
Until next time.
Happy reading.